All right, let's dive right into this explainer and crack open what is honestly a massive true crime cold case from antiquity. Today, we are profiling Lucius Cornelius Sulla. Long before the emperors, Sulla was basically this ruthless political serial killer who literally murdered the Roman Republic. We're going to examine this history just like a detective looks at a crime scene, because understanding how Sulla operated, that is the absolute key to understanding how one of the greatest political systems in the ancient world was just systematically dismantled.
Here's our investigation overview. We'll be profiling our ruthless suspect, looking at exactly how he broke the sacred city, examining a horrifying crime scene in besieged Athens, and detailing his reign of terror. Then we'll investigate his ultimate getaway, and finally, the very famous copycat he inspired.
Section 1. Profiling the ruthless suspect. To understand the crime, we first really need to look at the suspect's motive and his mindset. And that brings us to case fact 1. The primary cause of all this deadly chaos was a personal, deeply bitter feud. Sulla's intense rivalry with his former mentor, the legendary general Gaius Marius, provided the ultimate motive. They were locked in this vicious power struggle over who would get the glory, and, let's be real, the immense wealth of commanding the Roman legions against King Mithridates in the east. This wasn't just some polite political disagreement. No, it was a total blood feud that sparked years of catastrophic civil war, turning Roman against Roman.
Moving to case fact 2, we uncover a really chilling obsession with the goddess Fortuna. See, Sulla wasn't just power-hungry. He genuinely believed heaven itself sanctioned his brutality. He even took the name Felix, which translates to the lucky or the fortunate. Just imagine the terrifying mindset of a killer who looks at the total devastation he's causing and thinks, well, the gods want me to do this. That absolute unwavering certainty in his own divine favor allowed him to justify the horrific acts we are about to see.
Section 2. Breaking the sacred city. With the motive established, let's look at the terrifying escalation of his crimes.
Here is a timeline of his crime spree, and it brilliantly illustrates his path of destruction. From marching on Rome in 88 BCE, to the siege of Athens in 86, to being crowned dictator in 82, this plots out exactly how quickly a republic can fall into the hands of a mob boss with an army.
For case fact 3, we really need to note the unprecedented horror of 88 BCE. Sulla became the very first Roman general to literally turn his legions around and march his army directly on Rome itself. The crucial thing to understand here is that the city boundaries of Rome were considered utterly sacred. No general was legally allowed to bring an army inside, ever. By doing this, Sulla shattered a sacred taboo, leaving senators in absolute shock as Roman swords were drawn against Roman citizens. He essentially took his own city hostage.
Section 3. Crime Scene. Besieged Athens. We now follow the blood trail from the capital to our next active crime scene.
Let's examine case fact 4. During the Mithridatic War in 86 BCE, Sulla laid a brutal siege to the great city of Athens. His forces nearly wiped the city off the map, leaving us with these vivid, horrifying images of bloodied cobblestones and a completely plundered Acropolis. The historical accounts actually tell us the slaughter was so immense that blood literally flowed through the gates and right into the suburbs. He didn't just defeat Athens, he butchered its citizens and looted its priceless ancient treasures just to fund his war machine. It was a completely calculated, devastating crime against one of the cultural capitals of the ancient world.
Section 4. The Reign of Terror. Returning to Rome after his victories, our suspect executes the ultimate syndicate takeover.
0. That is the exact number of time limits on Sulla's power. Case fact 5 is his appointment as the very first dictator completely exempt from the traditional 6-month rule. In the Roman Republic, a dictator was actually a legitimate constitutional office, but it was strictly meant to be a temporary emergency measure. You fix the crisis, and within 6 months, you step down. But Sulla? He had himself appointed dictator with absolutely 0 time limits. He basically gave himself infinite power.
Now, the absolutely crucial point for case fact 6 is this dark, terrifying legal term, proscription. In 82 BCE, Sulla unleashed what was essentially a mafia-style purge using these horrific death lists. He formalized murder. If your name was on a proscription list, you were immediately stripped of your citizenship. Anyone could kill you. And in fact, they'd be rewarded with a cut of your money for doing it. Sulla then seized the rest of your property to enrich himself and his cronies.
Just imagine the sheer, suffocating terror in the Roman streets. Every single day, citizens would walk into the Roman Forum, the very heart of the city, to see new death lists posted up on whiteboards. Thousands died. If you were a senator who aided Marius, your head ended up publicly displayed right in the Forum. Opposed his dictatorship? Executed. And get this, even if you simply sheltered a target, you faced immediate execution for helping. It was systematic, bureaucratic slaughter designed to send a very chilling message.
Case Fact 7 shows exactly why he did all this, to violently rewrite the Constitution. He doubled the Senate size from 300 to 600 members. He completely stripped power from the tribunes, who were the representatives of the common people, and handed all judicial and legislative control directly back to the Senate. It was a highly calculated, violently enforced bid to permanently restore elite, aristocratic control over the Republic.
Section 5. The Ultimate Getaway. In a twist ending typical of the absolute best true crime stories, the killer pulls off the unthinkable.
Let's look at Case Fact 8, the resignation. After holding absolute, terrifying power from 80 to 79 BCE, he shocked the entire world by voluntarily stepping down. After 2 years of unparalleled terror, having slaughtered his enemies and rewritten the laws, he just resigned his dictatorship. He walked right into the forum, dismissed his bodyguards, and offered to explain his actions to anyone who asked. Of course, no one dared. He just handed back power and walked away.
Which leads us directly to Case Fact 9, revealing his totally untouchable getaway. Instead of facing justice for the thousands of lives he ruined, Sulla retreated to a massive country estate by the Bay of Naples. He lived out his final days surrounded by sprawling, luxurious gardens, enjoying private theatrical performances and hosting extravagant banquets, overflowing with the absolute finest wines and foods. He lived like a king, completely shielded from any consequences, and eventually died peacefully in his bed. No justice, just a life of pure decadence.
Section 6. The Copycat. Julius Caesar. Sulla got away with it, but the true tragedy of this case is the chilling legacy he left for future perpetrators.
Our final case fact contrasts Sulla with a famous young man who barely survived those very purges, Julius Caesar. See, Sulla was the chaotic, bloodthirsty pioneer who broke the Republic trying to save its old ways. Caesar? He was the calculated, empire-building copycat. Caesar closely studied Sulla's march on Rome, his use of civil war, and his endless dictatorship. Sulla literally wrote the playbook that Caesar later used to end the Republic once and for all. Caesar learned that violence works, but he also learned from Sulla's one big mistake: never, ever give the power back.
Take a moment to think about this final question as we close out this explainer. Sulla wrote the playbook for the death of the Republic. He showed that a general with a loyal army could completely dismantle centuries of democratic norms and face absolutely zero consequences. So ask yourself, what does it really take to kill a democracy? Is it the copycat who lands the final blow, or is it the ruthless pioneer who first proves that the unthinkable is entirely possible? Thank you so much for investigating this cold case with me, and always keep questioning the history you think you know.